children, it's Mrs. Lee here. It's assembly number 20 and it's the week beginning the 20th of February 2023. How are you? I hope that you are okay. Me? Oh, thank you for asking. I'm okay too. Right, shall we start with our routine? What's the time, Mr. Wolf? Well, I can see that the long hand, the minute hand, is on the number 6. And I know that means it's past. I can also see that the shorthand, the hour hand, is pointing in between the numbers 9 and 10. I know that means altogether it says 9:30. What else have we got? Well, our Makaton sign of the week has changed. Are you ready? Here's our Makaton sign. Don't know if you can read the word. It says again. You need to use 2 fingers for this, and you're going to bring your fingers down. Watch. Again. Can you sign again? Again. I wonder why Mrs. Lee wants us to think about again. Well, the reason is tomorrow, which is Tuesday the 21st of February, is a special day for Christians. I'm going to give you a clue. Are you ready? Think this is? It's a frying pan. That's right. Tomorrow, on the Tuesday, the 21st of February, it's Shrove Tuesday. It's a time in the Christian calendar where they get ready for something called Lent. So Shrove Tuesday is a day where they flip pancakes. Maybe at your home you flip pancakes, or maybe you've seen it on the television. I believe that in Huntingdon they're going to actually have a pancake flipping race where you have to flip your pancakes and run from one place to another. What fun! There you go. So maybe on Tuesday you could ask your grown-ups at home to make you a pancake. If you want to do it, you've got to do it with a grown-up though. Okay, so why are the Christians making pancakes? Well, way back in the past, do you remember we've been learning about that when we were historians? Way back in the past, the Christians believed it was a time that they would get rid of everything in their house and just take away all things that maybe they don't need anymore. And actually there was a time when they wouldn't eat eggs, so they used to have to use all the eggs up. And a great way to use everything up in the house was to put it in a frying pan and make a pancake. So the eggs would go in and maybe some flour and some butter and things like that. Now, lots of people don't do that anymore. But some Christians still think about the time, and it's 40 days before Easter this time, and they call it Lent. And it's a period of time where they might think about how they've been as a person, and they might think, oh, maybe they could turn over a new leaf. Turn over a new leaf. Now, we've talked about this before, haven't we? We've talked about this with other religions. I remember us thinking all about how the Jewish families think about just before, in Hanukkah. They think about how they've been as a person. And I think also at Chinese New Year, we talked about people thinking about maybe turning over a new leaf, making things better. Can you remember? So lots of religions and lots of different cultures around the whole world think about turning over a new leaf. And it's something you can do, even if you're not a Christian. All right? You can turn over a new leaf whenever you want. So the start of the day, in the middle of the day, whenever. If you've been doing something that's not so good, maybe you've been forgetting our golden rules. I know it's easily done sometimes. We all make mistakes. Well, we can start again. We can turn over a new leaf. We can say, right, I did that and I'm what's this sign? That's right, sorry. I'm really sorry for what I did, and now I'm going to turn over a new leaf and I'm not going to do that again. Right then. Now, I've got a story all about somebody who turned over a new leaf. Are you ready? My My story is called Burglar Bill, and it's written by Janet and Alan Alberg. Now, Janet and Alan Alberg have written lots and lots of stories that we've shared with you over the years. But this one's a really good one to talking about turning over a new leaf. Here we go. Here's Burglar Bill. He lives all by himself in a tall house full of stolen property. Every night he has stolen fish and chips and a stolen cup of tea for supper. And then he swings a big bag of stolen stuff on his shoulder and he goes off to work stealing things. Oh, dearie me, is that one of our golden rules? No, it's not. Don't know if you can see just over my shoulder here, we've got our British values poster. One of them says the rule of law. Now, our 7 golden rules are based on the rule of law. Things to make us, that's right, children, safe and happy. Do you think Burglar Bill is making people feel safe and happy? I don't think so. One night, Burglar Bill is working in a little street behind the police station. When he comes to the first house, he climbs in through the bathroom window and he shines his torch around. Oh, a nice toothbrush, he says. I'll have that. And he puts it into his sack. And then he looks into another window and he sees a can of beans. Oh, I'll have that. And he puts it into his sack. Oh, that's a nice hat and a coat and a pair of trousers and socks and shoes, says Burglar Bill. I'll have them. And he puts them into his sack. Whew. When he comes to the 16th house, he stops because there on the front step is a big brown box with holes in it. Now, that's a big brown box with holes in it. He says, I'll have that. In the distance, the town hall clock strikes 5. Time to stop work, says Burglar Bill, and he swings his sack over his shoulder and off he goes home. After breakfast, Bill plays with his cat. But while he's playing with his cat, he can hear funny noises. He thinks, where are those noises coming from? He creeps up to the little brown box with all the holes in it, where he thinks the sound is coming from, and blow me down, he says. It's a baby. Burglar Bill puts the baby on the table. What are you doing in that box, baby, he says, but the baby only keeps on crying. All alone, an orphan, says Burglar Bill. But the baby only keeps on crying. And then Burglar Bill says, I know what you want, grub. Do you know what grub is? It's slang. It's slang for food. Burglar Bill gives the baby an apple, but still the baby cries. He gives him a slice of toast and marmalade, but still the baby cries. He gives him a plate of beans and a cup of tea. The baby eats the beans and throws the cup of tea on the floor and starts to laugh. Oh, well, that's better, said Burglar Bill. I like a few beans myself. Burglar Bill sits by the fire and wonders what to do. The baby is crying again. He gives the baby a football to play with and the baby throws the football at the cat and keeps on crying. He gives the baby a book to look at and the baby bites a hole in the book and keeps on crying. He sings a song and he plays the piano to the baby, but the baby cries even louder. He falls off the piano stool and bangs his nose on the floor and the baby laughs and shouts, again. Again, says Burglar Bill, and he rubs his nose. I didn't want to do it the first time. Burglar Bill bounces the baby on his knee. So you can talk, he says. Say Burglar Bill. Burglar Bill, says the baby. Suddenly Burglar Bill feels his knee getting wet and he smells a funny smell. Oh, poo, he says. I know what you want. Poo, 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 says the baby. Burglar Bill changes the baby's nappy. He doesn't have another one, so he uses an old bath towel instead. Say, for he's a jolly good fellow for changing my nappy, says Burglar Bill. Burglar Bill plays with the baby and he shows it around the house. He feeds it again and he changes the nappy again. And he washes the clothes and he hangs them on the line to dry in the kitchen. When the night comes, he takes the baby for a walk in the park. He says, run for it if you see anybody, says the burglar. Says Burglar Bill. Run for it, run for it, run for it, says the baby. At 12 o'clock, Burglar Bill comes home. He puts the baby to bed and he goes to bed himself. Soon he is snoring softly and dreaming of his childhood days. Suddenly, he wakes up. He can hear something downstairs. It sounds ever so familiar, especially a person saying, I'll have that. I'll have some of that. I'll have that. Blow me down, says Burglar Bill. I'm being burgled myself. Burglar Bill creeps down the stairs and he shines his torch and he says, Oi, what are you doing? And there, with a black mask on her eyes and a hand on the bread bin, stands a lady. "Who are you?" says Burglar Bill, shining his torch at her. "I'm Burglar Betty," says the lady. "Who are you?" Burglar Bill puts on his own mask. "Oh, I know you. You're Burglar Bill," says Burglar Betty. "I've seen you in the paper." Oh, wow. Burglar Bill makes a jug of cocoa and opens a packet of biscuits, and the two burglars sit down on at the kitchen table. "You married, Bill?" "No, the right woman never came along." He offers a biscuit to Burglar Betty, and she takes one, she dips it in her cocoa. Just wondered, seeing that you've got all these baby things here. "Oh, I've got a baby," says Burglar Bill. "I found it on a doorstep in a box." "In a box?" said Burglar Betty. "That's right, a big brown box with holes in it." "A big brown box with holes in it?" says Burglar Betty. "That's right. Well, blow me down. That baby's mine." The two burglars hurry upstairs to the baby's room. "That's him," says Burglar Betty, and she swings the baby in the air. You see, he's got this little birthmark on his leg, and these are his own clothes as well, what his grandma knit him. Oh, she's got her baby back. Back in the kitchen, Burglar Bill makes a fresh jug of cocoa and gets out another packet of biscuits. Meanwhile, Burglar Betty tells him how she lost a baby. "You see, I left him on that doorstep for a minute when I was burgling this house, and when I came out, he was gone, my baby. I thought the police had got him. I only thought it was a useful box," said Burglar Bill. "I never knowed there was a baby in there till I got home." Burglar Betty gets ready to leave. "I suppose your husband will be glad when you get back." "Oh, no, he won't," she says. "See, I haven't got a husband. I'm a widow." Burglar Bill walks through the town with Burglar Betty and the baby. "You know, Betty," he says, "getting burgled like that gave me a fright." "Oh, I know what you mean. Losing my baby gave me a fright too." "Oh, do you know what? I can see the error of my ways," says Burglar Bill. "I've been a very bad man." "Me too," says Burglar Betty. "I've been a bad woman. I've been a terrible woman." Just then the baby starts to cry. "Shh," said Burglar Betty. "You'd better you'll have the police after us." And Burglar Bill looks over his shoulder. "From now on, I'm going to lead an honest life. And all the things I've pinched, said Burglar Betty. "Yeah, all those things, mine and yours, Betty, we're going to give them back." You see, give back everything that they've stolen over the years. So Burglar Bill stops being a burglar, and after a time he starts working as a bread man in the local bakery. And Burglar Betty stops being a burglar as well. When spring comes round, she sells her house and she gives the money to the police fund. And then she gets married to Burglar Bill. Outside the church, Bill stands with the baby in his arms. "Say Bakery Bill," he says. "Bakery Bill," says the baby. "Say, for he's a jolly good fellow for marrying my mum," says Bill. "Say, for she's a jolly good fellow for marrying him," Betty says. And in the distance, the town clock strikes 4. And Bill and Betty and the baby leave the church, walk down a little street behind the police station, and they go home to have their tea. And there's Burglar Bill. He's no longer Burglar Bill. He's Bakery Bill. Oh, I like that story. Burglar Bill turned over a new leaf, and so did Burglar Betty, didn't they? They stopped stealing and taking things. If we all remember the golden rules, we can make Hertford Infant and Preschool a happy and safe place to be. So if you forget them, don't worry, you can turn over a new leaf. Maybe you could be like the Christians are at the moment, Christian people who are thinking about how they can be a better person. Sometimes Christian people at Lent, just before Easter, give up something. We used to have a lady that worked at our school, and she used to stop eating chocolate for the whole 40 days. She wouldn't touch any chocolate, no chocolate biscuits, no chocolate sweets, nothing. And then when it came to Easter, she said that she enjoyed having an Easter egg, but she especially enjoyed giving up something and thinking more about being a better person. And that's what it's about, children, always trying to be a better version of ourselves. I think the golden rules help us, don't they? Right, children, thank you for listening to Assembly. I hope that you have a lovely, lovely week. This week we will have gone to the zoo by the time you've watched this, okay? I'm hoping that we had a lovely time. I'm looking forward to it. Right then, children, take care. Oh no, right then, children, let's finish off with our school prayer. Remember, help me to do the things I should, to be to others kind and good, in all my work and all my play, to grow more loving every day. Amen. Right, children, bye-bye. Have a nice week.